Hi all, good morning. I am Amit Sardana and I would be giving you a quick walkthrough on my project, which is Fraudulent Transaction Detection System for the investment management industry. As part of the project, we would be going through on the four phases which we have utilized to analyze this project further. First one is the task analysis. What is the actual task which user wants to perform out of the system? Second, we would be giving you a quick walkthrough on the user experience design, how we are thinking about the design of the system, taking into consideration the user experience, the best practices which we need to follow. Third one, we would be speaking about on the privacy consideration, considering it as a transaction management system. So it will going to have the actual financial data. Similarly, it will going to have the personal identifiable information. So we need to have the privacy as one of the key design factor for the system. Last one is the ethical consideration and what all things we have think through on the ethical part of this particular implementation. Jumping on to the first one, which is task analysis. So the problem statement which we are trying to solve is that the fraudulent financial transaction poses a significant threat to the investment management industry, resulting in substantial financial losses, reputational damage, and the regulatory complication. Fraudsters are becoming more and more sophisticated. They are employing new automated techniques. So we need to design a system which is able to circumvent all of these advanced techniques, and we just need to be one step ahead of the fraudster to detect all of those fraudulent transactions. Yeah. So the key tasks which we see as part of the system would be to have a real-time monitoring on all of these transactions. User should have an easy interface to see that what all transactions are being captured as fraudulent. What are the reason user should be able to act on that in case they want to override the decision made by the system. Last one is that there needs to be a mechanism where user can provide a feedback back to the system. Jumping on to the next part, so insights from the task analysis, so how the task analysis is helping us to design the system better. So to for that we are thinking to create a simplified dashboard, which would be a user friendly dashboard where user can come and interact with the system. They can see what are the transactions, how many transactions have been monitored, what are the transaction percentages which system feels is fraudulent, is there any kind of exception, so they can come and see that dashboard. Similarly, they will going to have an action center where they can add their workflows or where they can perform specific action. Third one is an automated alert. User would be getting an automated alert in case of fraudulent transaction. And last one is we would going to create a mechanism to capture their feedback. Jumping on to the next one, user experience design. So from a user interaction perspective, we are thinking it as a web-based system where user would be able to interact with the system either from their computer devices or from handheld devices. So platform will consist following key features. It will going to have a dashboard, action center, and a feedback mechanism. Moving further, so as part of the key consideration which we have used to develop the system would be we would always like to learn from the user's input. So we are developing in the implicit and the explicit user feedback mechanism where using can provide their feedback. Similarly, learning from the history what all transactions have been identified, so just learning from there and to update that machine learning model. Second consideration is on the transparency. To have a transparent system, we would try to provide that for each and every transaction which has been captured or which has been flagged as a fraudulent one. We would be providing the detailed explanation or detailed information why the model has considered that up by providing the device fingerprinting, IP blacklisting mechanism. Next, it would be providing you the location discrepancy between the customer and from the transaction has happened, and to provide a complete explanation on the contributing factor. Last one, on the communication of uncertainty, it will going to provide the weightage on all of these factors which has been considered, and it will also provide a weightage on the decision that what is the percentage the system feel that this is a fraudulent transaction. Jumping further on the privacy, as I have talked initially as well, that privacy would be one of the key consideration. So from a privacy consideration perspective, we would be encrypting all of these data while transit, and similarly while storing that there would be proper access control mechanism to get an access to this application. It won't be available to each and every person, so we would be employing proper access control. Applicable privacy law, our system will going to follow the law of land, and system would be designed to be compliant to all the international laws including GDPR, similarly CCPA and the other regional laws. Last one is the ethical consideration. So the main potential sources of biases which we foresee would be the data bias, the way we are training that data. So in case we have any special biases in the data that we have highlighted a particular region, then basically system can be trained and they can stop the legitimate uh, transactions from that region. So we just need to be making it more independent to take those decision up. So we would going to remove all of those biasness from the data. Similarly, while training or while finalizing the feature, there can be an inherent biasness that we are not considering all the important features. So we will try and we would be working with the experts to remove all of those biasness from a feature selection. Last one is the meeting the goals of ethical AI. So as a system design, we would be making it following all the key guidelines from an ethical AI perspective. So first one is the fairness. Ensure the training data set is diverse, representative of all user demographics. Regularly audit the model to detect and correct any of the biases. Second, the system would be accountable, so it would be having a clear documentation and communicate the factors used in transaction classification. And we will implement a robust feedback mechanism to allow user to report inaccuracy around that. Last one is the transparency. Provide detailed explanation why a transaction was flagged as fraudulent, and offer a user insights into how the model decisions are made and what data was considered. Yeah. So we hope that by addressing these considerations, the fraudulent transaction detection system will not only be effective, but it would be fair, accountable, and transparent, and it would going to ensure a high level of trust and reliability in the investment management industry. Yeah. So thank you for your time. Have a good day. Take care.